just come down to the lounge and I left the curtains closed to keep sort of the heat in. I've just opened the curtains and look. Oh my word, it's like a winter wonderland. Other than the fact that I washed, re-waterproofed and put away all the ski gear, other than that, I am delighted it's snowing. It's a delayed start to school at the moment. It's 8:30 just now. I'm on my way to go let the dog out. And it's a delayed start to 10:30 today. But that might change. It might end up being cancelled because that's going to take a lot to get out the drive. Oh, it's just so beautiful. If we go back, it's like a Christmas postcard. My voice is completely gone from speaking too much yesterday. We had people here for selling Steve's car. They came up from Newcastle and I'm so glad it was yesterday and not today. But I've now got no voice because I spoke too much. Surprise, surprise. We've got one very happy dog who absolutely loves snow. She's just got to zoom it off. Wow. Oh, I feel like we could be abroad. This feels like it could be France or the Swiss Alps. Oh, just lovely. And it's really soft, fluffy, deep snow. Oh, it's so good. Oh, you didn't pee. Look at that. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Is it good? Oh, it's brilliant. Good fun down there, isn't it?
Yeah, don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah, don't eat yellow snow, exactly right. Oh, wow. It also covers every single job that I'm supposed to do in the garden, so I feel very happy about it. Look at that blue sky. We could totally be in Switzerland right now.
She's eating the snow.
Oh, is she? Eating the snow?
See?
Oh, yeah. An afternoon definitely well spent. The sun's come out now. Got a picture when it was in the sunshine. So we're now ready to go and take the dog and get a photo with the dog, which will probably destroy it. So we put her in the trampoline. You can hear her barking, she wants out, but that is the sun coming out now. I'm going to go take the dog out and see if she is going to destroy that, thinking it's a man. So good. Oh, the watch who your mitt is. You got it? You got it? Ready, set, go. Good morning. Well, I can just say it's just good morning. I spent the morning making waffles and it's still snowy outside. You can see how bright it is. And there's been a lot of dusting and snow overnight. It's Saturday. There's no rugby training because the ground's frozen. I can't say I'm disappointed about that because it was a nice long lie in bed. Children and I watched some cartoons before we had waffles. And I decided yesterday would be a very good day to empty out the pantry. Yep, which means I have got this to finish. There's a lot more to come out, a lot more. So I am away to set up. These are the shelves that Grandpa and Grandma have gone to go and get just now. We looked at them yesterday in B&Q and we have decided what we're doing. We decided to place these because they're quite bowed. The weight of my boxes have pushed them down and have made them unusable. So they've gone to go and get 3 of those. These top ones are okay, they just need a repaint. I was going to paint it in the beige sort of colour again, but I could get white. So it was easier. And it's a cupboard. I'm never going to see it. You know, you're never going to, doesn't matter. So they're going to go and get that. I am going to go and empty out all of this. I'm going to set up some trellis tables over here to put everything on. And then hopefully by the end of the day, it'll be painted and we'll put everything back in tomorrow. That sounds a bit optimistic, doesn't it? But we'll see how we get on. Children are crafting at the table, doing a very good job in the sunshine. So we are going to put music on and get this emptied out. I finished emptying in here. All of this, I won't show you the bags at the door as well that are rubbish. All of this came out of that one pantry. I mean, how is it even possible? Very little out of date, which I'm quite impressed about. Just one carrier bag with out of date things, and not vastly out of date. Just last year, I did have one 2020 thing, but isn't that just crazy? Evie's got in her crate because it's just ridiculous the amount of stuff that's been coming out. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to have to reduce some of this. This is my little book when I was little, my cookbook, a ladybird cookbook. So yeah, some things I want to keep, but I'm going to have to reduce. Or maybe I can just organise it better so it doesn't look so messy. But that is it completely empty now. I'm away to go and sugar soap the 3 shelves that are staying. And then these ones, as I said, they're bent. I don't know if you can see it from there. Sort of bows down in the middle. This was the worst one. Dad tried flipping it over to see if it was possible, but can you see the bend on it? It's just not possible to do. So we went to B&Q and we found that you can get 3 shelves out of one sheet. They'll be slightly shorter just because of the width of the blade to cut the sheet, but I would rather that. And the one sheet was £37, so it's not too bad. £37 to replace these 3 shelves, which is not too bad. And then I'll get all this paint. I never painted the pink. This is the colour the kitchen was before when we first moved in. Never painted it. So I'm going to paint all of that white, the whole thing. And I can't believe how much how much came out of here. It's quite scary. I love the floor at the bottom. I need to give it a good hoover. It's all messy, obviously. But I love the original floorboards in the bottom of the cupboards. I need to give that a proper hoover and a clean out. But how cool is this? At the very top, so this half of the house where the kitchen is the extension. It was built at the same time, though it's not been extended. But it was where the maids' quarters would have been in the olden days. So this little hatch here was where upstairs in their room would have been the store of grain, and then it would come down here into the pantry, and they would get the oats or whatever it was for making the master's porridge in the morning. So that hatch is still there, which is quite cool. Yeah, nice little bit of history for you. But that is the cupboard empty. So I'm going to go and sugar soap these first 3 cupboards, first 3 shelves. So get them sugar soaped ready for painting. And then Dad's going to be coming back with these 3, which will get primed and painted before we put them in. Dad will measure them and make sure that they're sitting right. We'll get them primed before we put them in. Might paint them in situ. But we'll take these 3 out so that we can get all the walls done, because the walls are a bit of a mess inside, obviously, from use. Things hanging on here, scratching the wall. Yeah, it's gonna be much nicer and much brighter. My boxes will still sort of make this sort of mess. This is what the boxes are kind of like. They're still gonna sort of make that sort of residue mess by using them, but you don't see that once the boxes are in, so it's not too bad.
Fitting it, just like you see they're down to back. They've all got top back, middle back, and bottom back. That's 2.
So then you know which one's which.
I'm still going to scribe it against the. It doesn't really matter, but to make it be nice, neat against the paint.
Oh, that would be
It's out and in like a yo-yo.
Yeah, because it's obviously old walls, so it's not flush. So Dad's he's made up a little vise outside. With some stones, some bricks, and we've got the shelves cut, so Dad's fit them perfectly, because obviously the inside of the cupboard's not a perfect fit. So this is the last one, this is the top one. We're adding this bead to the front just to make it nice and rounded, because obviously that's quite an unfinished edge, so we're adding that to it. It's got a slight overhang, which we're going to put under on the bottom of the shelf. So you're measuring exactly where you're going to... So they're exactly identical in each shelf. We'll be filling it in. But,
I know, but it's
very fussy, making sure it's exact. I'm glad. This is where I get my OCD from, Dad. This is where I get it from. A mixture of you and Mum. So marking where he's going to put some... Is it panel pins, Dad, that you use?
Panel pins, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the finishing guns I could use with this size of bead, a bit too...
Yeah, so you got the pass
powerful
load.
for it.
And yes, it's just as well using panel pins. And then when I paint it, it'll be... looking good.
we're just putting a couple of beads of wood. Is it wood filler or wood glue?
Wood glue. Yeah. You can do it zigzag as well, you know.
Oh yeah, I love our bit.
Yeah, but that's just getting a good cover and the complete wood to the bead.
Oh.
Make this end perfect.
Been a while since Bobby Ray's been on the Bowray design, isn't it, Dad?
Back in action.
I know, back in action. So we should put the panel pins in now at the pre-marked locations. Nothing like being exact and accurate, is there, Dad?
Yeah. Bit fussy maybe.
So we put the wood glue. This is the wood glue Dad's using. Evo stick wood glue, fast setting formula, exterior. So he's used that to put on underneath. And then he's just panel pinning it so that the overhang, so it's slightly bigger than the shelf. So we're putting the overhang underneath. So it'll look really nice. A nice rounded edge to the front of my shelves. And then it's going to be painted. So this will all be covered. It doesn't matter that they're different colours of wood. It's all going to be painted and it's going to look really good. It's honestly, it's a bit of a stress doing it just now, Dad, isn't it? Everything's out the cupboard, everything's a mess, but it will be worth it. It's just one of those things. It's got to be worse before it gets better. So we're now using this nail punch to punch the panel pins in, just so that they're sunk in, and then we'll fill them with wood filler before we paint. Excellent, then wiping off all the excess of the glue.
And the sanding does the rest.
Perfect. Looking good, Dad. A Sunday well spent brings a week of content. So Dad's just about to go in and pour sand in here. He's got a little corner one for doing the corners and then the circular one for doing this. I want to keep the original wood. I love the wood. I will seal it, but it's obviously really damaged over the 100 or whatever years of it being used. It's definitely damaged, and also I want to get rid of the paint that the previous owners have just painted over the top on the side there. It's not bad. You don't see it. It's in a cupboard. However, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. Dad's in the cupboard sanding and we've sealed the edges so there's no dust coming out. Poor Dad. Stuck inside there, but hopefully he's doing a good job. Are you ready to come out, Dad? Oh my word. Turn around, let's see your back. This jumper was red. You're covered. You've got more determination than me. Honestly, absolutely more determination than me. Wow. Oh, it looks so good, Dad.
Big difference, eh?
Oh, big difference. Oh, big difference. Oh, it looks beautiful. Well done. So I'm all set up down here in the games room. Just sorting out them this way so that I can paint them in the overhang. So I'm going to go and prime them, ready for wood filler, and then their coats of paint. You got a stick? Have you got a stick? Must be really cold. She's already had a wash today already. She's been in the burn before and I've had to rinse her down. Wee rascal. She's fully been in now. She was only in the end bit before. She's off. Is she going to come all the way down? Is she going to come down? Let's whistle her. Here we come. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that recall. Good job. Sit. Good afternoon. It's a lovely frosty but sunny day, which is really nice. Dad's been working hard. He's removed all this rotten wood from the back of the garage here. From the back of there, in the storms a year past December, the guttering fell down. So Dad's got new black guttering, and I have painted the underside of the new wood that's gone up there, and we're going to do the front side of it now, and hopefully get a second coat on it before I go and get the children in half an hour. I always try and fit far too much in the last half an hour before I go and pick them up. I'll try that, and then I'm going to paint this one black to match the new black guttering. So yeah, I'm going to go and try and do that before I go and pick them up. See how I get on anyway. Give it a go. I've been painting the pantry today, hence the white paint all over my hands. So we're almost there. I've just got one more coat to do on the tops of the shelving with satin wood. So I've got one more coat to do in that when I come back from the activities tonight. It's taekwondo and football. So once I come back from there, I'll do the final coat of that and then leave it for a couple of days to cure. They're going to get ruined. As soon as I put the boxes on, they're going to get ruined. But at least if I leave it till it's totally dry, then at least then there's, it gives it as good a chance to be undamaged as possible. So that's the plan. And then I need to get on with making up my labels for all my boxes and all my jars. I need to wash all the jars and let them dry before I put the contents in. So there's a lot to do, but I feel like we're getting somewhere, which is good. Hopefully by the weekend I'll have everything back in. That's the plan. I've still got Thursday and Friday. Today's Wednesday, so I've still got Thursday and Friday to finish off all the other stuff, and then hopefully Saturday and Sunday I can sort of titivate and make it look nice. That's the plan. You only got half of that time lapse because the camera had it propped up on the trampoline, like secured against here. So yeah, it fell over, but you don't need to see me painting the rest of it. That's the first coat on that side. This is what we're using. It's a Ron Seal weatherproof wood paint in grey satin. It's stuff that Mum and Dad had left over, and it matches the fence that is beside the next door neighbours had painted. So it's the same colour as that, so it's fine. And it's going to dry, hopefully. It says 4 hours, but I managed to do the second coat on the other side after about half an hour. So I'm just going to leave that to dry and then come back and finish off the second coat in there. And that should probably be enough. I might give it 3. It does suggest 3, so I might do that. I've got it covered in cling film, and I've been wearing gloves for this to save my hands getting all dirty. But I'm going to go and change into my usual clothes. I've actually got my trousers on underneath my painting jeans. So I just need to strip them off and then go and get the children from school. My favourite part of the day. Just been doing some more labels for the pantry and watching Grey's Anatomy at the same time. Grace is at her gymnastics for another 15 minutes, so I'm hoping to get these finished. I've done ones for the big jars, so self-raising flour, all the larger things, including like the pastas, and what else have I got? Yeah, more pastas. So they're like the big jars, and then I've also done ones for all the spice jars as well, so they're a bit smaller. And they're going to go on the door of the pantry, on the wire racks that I've ordered. I've created this myself because I found one online that I liked, but I wanted to be able to edit it anytime I wanted, so I sort of created it myself in PowerPoint. So it's just a double line, so like two boxes, thin lines, and then 2 lines either side, and the template that I found had writing at the top and writing at the bottom, but I found it too messy. I just want to make it nice and streamlined, so I've chosen a font called Alta, which is there. I had to download the font because I didn't have it already. So I've downloaded that and then able to use it for making my own labels. And if anyone wants this, I posted this on Instagram yesterday when I was doing them. And I had a couple of messages with email addresses for people. And I also said to them, if I post a reel with my finished pantry and I haven't sent you it, give me a little nudge because I've probably forgotten. So I'm going to be emailing this PowerPoint. I'll just email the PowerPoint presentation over and they can mend it and alter it any way they want. So if anyone else would like it, let me know, and I can send that over. Either you can comment on this video on YouTube, or you can go over to @Bowray Design on Instagram and message me there, and I can send it to you via email, and then you'll be able to add in any of the things that you want. You can just edit it yourself. So if anyone would like that, let me know. The boxes, so the wooden boxes I bought, like metallic, old-fashioned, you know, the tags that you got on like school lockers that you slipped a piece of paper in the back of it. Some of those, they're like brush bronze, so they screw in with 2 little screws. I'll show you them obviously in this vlog. So I'm going to make up little labels for it, but the only issue is I forgot to measure to see if they're the right size. So what I might do is I might just now write a list of the ones I'm going to be including, and then there's no point in doing like the actual labels, because then if I have to amend it, I'll have to amend the whole lot. So I might just write out the writing just now, and then I can do that later because I can't remember where I put them. So I need to go and find them. So I'll do that. And I've got now I've got 12 minutes until Grace finishes. I'm going to put Grey's Anatomy back on, cup of tea, and I'll just write those down, and then that'll be jobs finished for Friday night, and then I'll get going with the pantry again tomorrow. I hope everyone's enjoying their Friday night. I do love a Friday night. I like when I can get home and then I'm home for the night. That's the best bit. So yeah, I'll look forward to the drive home. Grace and I do some singing on the way back, and that is when I feel like it's Friday night, when we're on route home and going home, and then the door's closed inside. I think I'm gonna have some soda water and lime tonight, really pushing the boat out. But it's a special Friday night. I usually have trips, but I've run out of trips. I love a trip with a CBD drink. I do love that, but I've ran out, so I need to order some more of those. And then relax with a movie before getting up early. Well, not early, but getting up early for rugby tomorrow. The weather has improved. There was no rugby last weekend because of the snow, and it was quite nice, kind of nice long lie. But it's on tomorrow, so I'm gonna wrap up warm though because it'll be freezing. Anyway, I will speak to you all later. Enjoy your Friday night. I've got you balanced like so precariously. You're on the box a wee bit because it's open, so I've got it sort of sitting on the flap, held by a kettle that I'm getting rid of, and piled up with stuff in the back. I'm living in this still. Such a mess, but we're getting there. Today is the day. I'm going to get all the boxes finished. I say that, it's already 2 o'clock and I've only got an hour. I've ordered from Amazon for the bottom these furniture pads, but in a roll. So I looked at silicone strips to go in the bottom of here, just so that when it goes in and out of the newly painted shelves, it doesn't scratch it. I didn't mind it scratching the old paintwork because it kind of made it look rustic and kind of farm-like, but I just spent ages painting them, so I don't really want to intentionally scratch them initially. So I looked at little silicone pads that went on, but they were so expensive, and I think it's more designed for your tables and chairs that you're using all the time. So instead I went for the 3M furniture pads. It's like in a little roll. Let me open it actually and see. And I'm hoping that'll be enough if it doesn't stay stuck on, because this isn't, I don't know, it might not stay stuck on, but I can use really strong super glue and stick them on. So I think it'll work. I'll find a way to make it work. So I've gone for a thin strip. So it just comes, it was coiled up. And I think if I just cut a section of that, I don't even have to go all the full length. I just need a little small section for there. And if I stick that on all 4 corners, I think between that and I bought a big strip as well. So I've got 2 of those in that sort of size. And then I bought a big strip just because it came, and that's how the pack came. And I can actually individually cut the size of that for here as well. So I think I should have enough to do all the boxes, and really exciting. I talked about the metal tags I was going to put on for the boxes. found them. Can you see that? That's what they look like. Beautiful bronze, antique sort of look. Not very big either, which means it looks really nice. I've done one. It looks really nice on the boxes, doesn't it? I really love it. I really love it. And then I'll just put a little, I was going to use my black Dymo labeler, you know, like where it punches in the old fashioned. But I think I'm going to stick with the labels that I've got for all the rest of the things, but I'll just have to make it really small and I won't put a box around it. I'll just do the writing instead. But how nice does that look? With the rope as well. And oh, I just love that look. I think it's going to look really nice. So I've got that to do. I'm also going to swap out my big boxes. So I've got bigger versions of this. And I use it for like my baking things, but I only really use it once a year. Every once in a while I need to go in there to get my candles. That's the only other thing that I kind of need to go in and get is the candles. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I will put them into one of these boxes. Now, I bought these to fit in the pantry. These. Now, I got these from B&Q. You can get them in Argos as well. They're an urban store basket with lid. This is the extra large one, made from recycled plastic, and they're from Strata. I'll tag them. I got them from B&Q, as I say, and because Mum and Dad have got a trade account, I got them for less than the £11 that they were stating. But they're big. They're really big, and I think I can fit all my baking things in there and put that at the bottom right of my cupboard, because I was initially planning, let me take you over and show you. I'm scared to move you now because I've got you propped up, but let me show you what my plan is. Be easier. Let me unplug you because I'm currently charging. So, my plan is to have these. My initial plan was to have them. Let me turn you around. So we had this box in as a divider because we're going to support the shelves. So in the past, as you saw from the very beginning, the shelves were bowed because it's quite a length and I'm supporting a lot of weight. So Dad's going to put middle supports in. So we're working out where the baskets would go. And now my initial plan was to have them completely covered by the shelves. So they were sunken in. But then it means that the divider would have to either be over here or here so it's going to be off center. Then I realised I'm kind of wasting my storage here. I only need a little bit to come in to walk around. So if I turn these round, yes, it's not ideal because they're sticking out the shelf. However, one of these baskets is actually going to be recycling. So I would kind of like to have the lid sort of propped up, kind of like that, or not even used, maybe just put it aside like that, so that we can access it for recycling. Because it's going to be a pain if I open the door, and I used to have the round basket here, remember? And I could just open the door with one hand and throw in the rubbish while I'm busy cooking or busy doing something. If I've got to pull this out, open the lid, put it in, put the lid back on and push it back in, probably not going to do it very often. It's going to pile up in the front. Everyone else in the family are definitely not going to do it. So at least if it's like that and it's sticking out a little bit from the shelf, I'll be able to shove things in. I think that's going to work. And it also means I can get another 2 in there. So we figured out that if that's where the divider was, I can fit another 1, and obviously the divider is just a thin piece of ply, the same thickness as the shelves. I'll be able to get another 1 in there. And that's the one that I'm thinking, which will be there, that I could use for my baking things, which I use once a year for the children's birthdays, and as I say, every once in a while for candles. So it's going to be really easy to get out because I just pull out the recycling one. I'm going to have 2 recycling ones, sorry. 1 for paper and 1 for the plastic reusable container things that I take to Sainsbury's and get 5p per item of. So I'm going to have 2 recycling, paper, cardboard, and then all my reusable glass and plastic. And that'll make it really easy because when that's full, I can just take it with me to Aberdeen and take it to the recycling. So that should work. This one, if I ever need it out, I just pull this one out, pull that along and take it out. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a hassle. I put this in just to get an idea because this is my where I keep my towels and my cloths and everything, and like replacement dishwasher cleaner, washing up liquid, sponges, cloths, that sort of thing in here. I've got 2 of them, and then my eggs sit on top. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I love the fact they've got lids. I love the fact they've got lids because all these other ones, which will have like my spare cling film, tin foil, Ziploc bags, kitchen roll, all that sort of spare thing, will be covered by a lid. So it means that they don't get dirty, and they also will look much nicer. You don't have to see any of that, so that's really good. The only ones that will be open, as I say, will be my recycling ones, which I think will be okay, because it's got to be functional. No point in just being a practical, a pretty thing to look at, as much as I want it to be that too. It's also got to be practical. We've got to live with it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to can all the cake things into there, and it'll fit, no problem. And that leaves me 2 spare big baskets to put in here for the spares for these 2 shelves, which will have my flour, everything else basically. All the spare things will be in there. And I won't need to take them down very often. It'll just be when I need to refill the jar. So I think that'll be good. You also get small ones like this. These are a slightly darker colour, but I can't get them in the lighter colour. But I mean, there's not much of a difference. You can see it's slightly darker. But because it's up here beside the light, you can't really tell. And that's going to be for holding things I don't use all the time. So like my pineapple corer is always on display. I can't think of anything else right now off the top of my head, but that sort of thing. And it fits so neatly in there. And I can put another one at this side for other things like that as well. And I can still fit things up there that are not going to be used very often. So for example, my big thermos flasks, use them for cycle rides in the summer. Or for ski trips in the winter, but I don't use them on a daily basis, so they can go up there and I can use my steps to get them. And I'll be able to fit another one there and another one up here as well. And this leaves this area free for things that I need to see. And I think that's going to work. And then the rest of this area will be the brown boxes. This shelf will be all my jars with my flour and everything. And then brown boxes, brown boxes. So I think that's going to look really nice, I hope. And then I'll get my recipe books in here. Yeah, and that space is all my folders that I'm planning to put all my recipes into, so I won't be able to use that space. So I might have an extra one for in here. That would work. So I need to pick up some more of those. I say I need to pick up. Mum and Dad are going to pick it up today so they can use their trade discount. So I'm hoping they've got some more in store, and if not, I'll just have to wait till they become available. I can get them in Argos as well, so I might have to just buy them in there. But I think that's going to look really nice. And the grey, as much as I want to change the colour of our kitchen, I am going to touch up the damage to the door though in the meantime. But in the future, I will be changing the grey. But for right now, I think even if I did change the kitchen, I'll still probably keep that grey, brown, white theme anyway. So I think that's going to work. So that's where I'm at. So I need to do labels for all the boxes. I'm just going to tie them on because they've got holes. So I'll be able to just thread through some twine or some... actually, I might use my Hessian sort of rope stuff. You know, like the things I use in the greenhouse for tying up my strawberries. I might use that because I've also got some thick rope to put in here. Let me show you it. This is it here, jute twine. And I ordered the amount, the size of the largest gap in here. Dad's going to put a little bit of wood glue in and then stuff this in. Obviously, it's not going to keep it completely clean, but it's going to stop bits like that half crushed sweetie, which is actually one of those cake topper things, you know, like for decorating cakes. It'll stop that sort of thing getting in there, and hairs and all that. So I need to hoover all in there, get that completely clear, and then pop in some wood glue. And Dad's got a little stopper for there, so that'll fill that hole, and then fill the jute string into the spaces. And any that are smaller, you can actually unravel this to make it that little bit smaller, so it works. Should work really well. I really like the colour of it as well. It's like, I can't really describe it, but it's not as yellow as I was imagining from the photos. It's actually a really nice muted brown. So that'll be lovely as well. But how nice does the floor look? Dad spent ages power sanding it, over an hour, and it's got out all the stains. So I need to actually seal this. I don't want to lose the colour through. I really like that colour, but I need to protect it so that it doesn't stain. With things being dropped and spilt and eggs falling off and cracking and that sort of stuff. And then we'll get the shelves in and we'll get the dividers in. And if I say it quickly, it doesn't sound like too much work, does it? Oh, there's still so much to do, and I'm kind of at that stage where I've lost my momentum. And the only thing that's keeping me going is the fact that that's what my kitchen looks like. And it's really, yeah, it's getting me a bit down now. Although I must admit, it's been much easier to find everything because it's all on display. So like every time I needed something, I was like, oh, I need this. And I could see it. It was much better. I'm also going to try and rub off this black writing, I think it's going to come off really easily. I just hope it's not going to look too obvious that I've scored it off, but I think it would look nicer if this was just plain. So I'm going to use one of my black diamond sponges, or maybe my white stain removing sponges, and see if I can just rub that gently and take it off without damaging the colour of the rest of it. So it stays in keeping with the rest of the colour. But I think that would just look a little bit neater and a little bit nicer. So I'm going to try and get that done, and all the labels, and all, this is a cake sort of thing that I'm talking about. So like ice cream cone, cone stands, ice cream cones. The coffee's not supposed to be in there. It's just because Evie ate the box that they were in, so I had to put them somewhere. You know, my nozzle for icing, an injector for putting in cakes, which I've never used, but I will get down to it. My sprinkles, things like that I'm not using on a daily basis. And I've got another box like this that's full. Oh, here it is. It's got my onions and my baby potatoes on top. But this box, which has got everything sort of sorted out and organised. So these are the candles, these are the cutters. So everything's pretty well organised, although it looks messy. It's very organised in itself. I think it would be better if I put these two boxes into the one that's going to be at the bottom. It's also, these are very heavy when you lift them down, so I think it'll just be easier when I do need to go into them. I'll be able to quite easily, which I think will be good. Right, I'm going to get on with it. I'll pop you in a time lapse and I'll do some I think I'll do the labels first. No, I'll maybe do this first and then I'll do the labels, as in the tags on the front. That's my plan. That looks really messy, but it's totally not, because I know what everything is. That comes out with the icing bags. All my cutters are there. Everything is lined up neatly inside, and it all fits. So that is, and as I say, I only use this really once a year, plus the odd occasional time. So I think that really works. I'll to pop the lid on. Even if it doesn't fit, it's okay. And then carry it. Over to that corner. That works so well. As I say, I very rarely use it out with the birthdays, so that's going to work really well. I might turn it around so that the food colouring, sometimes I use it. If I can be able to lift that up and take that out, that would be good. So yeah, that is one job done. It looks messy inside, but it looks so neat and tidy, and that's the main thing. And I know what everything is. Everything's very organised inside. It just looks a little bit messy, but I think that'll work. And then that frees up these larger ones for going back in where they were, which was there. Had two of them sitting up either side there. So that allows me to put them back in where they were. I'm going to go and cover them because I've probably just scratched my shelves by putting them in. So I'm going to go and put some covers on that and get the tags done. Children are asleep, dogs in our bed, and I'm just doing the first coat on the supports, and then it means I can get the second coat done on them tomorrow, and the underside of them done. So by the end of the day tomorrow, we should be able to put them into the pantry. But I'm away to go and watch Grey's Anatomy while I do it. I'll make a better job than try to look through the viewfinder to see what I'm painting, because I'm not doing a very good job. Dinner is almost ready, but I'm working away. I'm putting these felt bases onto the boxes. I did try putting just a little bit at the end, but when you pulled it off the shelf, then obviously it went down onto the hardwood. So it's still a mess in the kitchen, but I'm trying to do the last few boxes so they are ready to go. Oh, I've just taken off all that, and I don't need to take it all off because it is too long. So I need to stick that back on, and I'm just cutting it to length. Not so easy with the sticker. I'm going to stick this back on. And yeah, it's been really good. I'm almost there. I've done all my labels, I think. Although obviously I can print off if I need any more. So I'm just down to the last little bits, and we've got the last bits of painting to do, and then we'll be finished. I'll get everything back in to the cupboard. So let me just stick this down. It is football and taekwondo tonight, so it's a lot of running around between the places, but when I come home I'll finish it off. I really feel like the end is in sight. Like I finally feel like we're getting somewhere. So once I finish that, I've only got a couple more labels to put on, as in the metal tags. I've got a couple more of them to do, and then I'll get the labels put inside. And then I've got the plastic boxes, the labels on them. I say it quickly, it doesn't sound like a lot of work, but I will get there, I will get there. I'm sorry this is in bits and dribs and drabs, but I'm kind of doing it in dribs and drabs. Whenever I get a chance, I'll do a little bit. So I apologise that the video is going to be a little bit like that. But hopefully I'll be able to get a reel done and put it on Instagram. And I'll also be able to show you how it looks, because currently my kitchen still looks like this. Oh, this is the point where you're like, why did I start? But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be totally worth it. I don't know how I'm going to fit everything back in, but we're going to try. Anyway, that is the chicken noodle soup for dinner. It was going to be for my lunch at the weekend, or our lunch at the weekend, and my lunch the rest of the week. But the children, when I said I was making it, they were like, oh, they would like it. So I'm going to give them that for their dinner instead, and keep the sweet and sour chicken that was supposed to be for tonight for Saturday night. So it works out well. It's another glorious day. I've just done the cycle to school with the children, because I've got this cycle to school for the next 2 weeks, and I've just been picking some daffodils. I'm going to head off and have a break from doing the pantry, and I'm going to head to a coffee shop, because it's supposed to be hosting my friends here, but the kitchen is such a mess. So I messaged. Now in the past I would have been totally like, I don't know, up till 2 in the morning and try to get everything done to be able to host people. But I just said, do you mind if we go somewhere else? And I knew fine, they would rather be together than it doesn't matter where we are. So they would rather just be together. So I messaged them, and we're going to a cafe instead. So the pressure is off. So I've just picked some daffodils. So I'm going to go tie them up nicely and then go change my clothes, ready for our brunch. I've now changed out of my nice clothes for a lovely brunch, and I'm now in my walking gear and Steve's jacket. I've ordered a jacket, it arrived and it was far too big. Hello! So we're out in the field walking, aren't we, big girl? Aren't we? Saying hi! We're saying hello! Yes, I've ordered a jacket. I ordered it big because I wanted to put like jumpers and stuff underneath it. But it's far too big. It did say on one of the reviews that it was bigger to size. Obviously they plan for you to have like jackets underneath it. Never mind, I returned it and I've ordered it 2 sizes smaller. So it hasn't arrived yet, so I'm wearing Steve's jacket. My one I've got, it's got a hole and I need to sew it. But this one's just so handy, it's got loads of pockets. It's Steve's old snowboarding jacket from like 15 years ago. But it's got so many different pockets. I've got a pocket for my gloves, pocket for my treats, pocket for bit poo bags, a pocket for everything, pocket for the keys. Well, it's just brilliant, loads of pockets. So we're out enjoying the bit of the sunshine, bit of the blue sky, tidying the dog out because Thursday night is very big. Oh, a big piece of pottery, like. Oh, I love finding pottery. But that amount. Pottery pocket. I do actually have a pocket for pottery, which is this right hand side one. Pottery and stones that the children collect and then want me to carry. So I'll pop it in there. I love finding pottery in the field. I just love it. Anyway, we're going to tire the dog out because on Thursday night she's in her crate quite a lot because we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 activities between the two of them. Oh, she's getting too far away. Good girl. Good girl. Good job. Yeah, so in Thursday we've got 4 activities. So she's in her crate right from 4:45 till about 7:30. So it's a long time. So we're going for a bit of an exercise in the field. Tire her out so that she's not too sad about being in her crate, but it's just lovely. The wind's definitely not as wild as it was a couple of days ago. It was so strong, so cold. Blue skies, a bit of sunshine. I still am cold, so I'll get cold here, so I put this on. That, and then head back, make the dinner, lay out all the stuff for the children changing into, make a snuggle snack for you in the car, and then it's a rush because we've got to cycle home and have time to do all that before we have to leave. It's a very big rush on a Thursday, but I do love a Thursday because everything's packed up. I get a walk and talk with Barclay while Grace is at her classes, so it's actually quite nice to get a bit of time with him, which is lovely. And then I drop them both off at their second activities later on, so it's not too bad. Anyway, Thursday. Oh, I can't believe the week is almost done, but I think we're going to get quite far on. I'm going to finish the labels tonight, finish off the painting that I need to do for the pantry. It's all about the pantry just now. I'm sorry if you're not interested in the pantry because that is basically what life is just now. So I'll finish that off tonight, and then I think I will start getting everything in tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow, maybe Saturday and Sunday I'll get everything in, and then we'll finish next weekend. That's the plan, so I'm going to have next week free. Mum and Dad have sold the property in Aberdeen, so I'm going to go and help them clear all that and get it clean and ready for the handover on the Friday. So get in there. And I can't believe that we're almost into April. It's just so scary how fast this year is disappearing. It sounds really old when I say that, but it's true. Anyway, my arm is getting sore holding the camera up, so I'm going to go and pay attention to my little doggy who has ran past me about 3 times and is now back smelling everything. Loves the field. Another piece of pottery, this time a blue piece. I love getting finds in the field. Gorgeous sunshine. Helicopter in the sky somewhere, although I can't see it. Oh, there it is over there. I don't know if you're able to see it. Helicopter. Heading out to the North. And a beautiful black doggy in the field. Oh, chasing stuff. What are you chasing? What are you chasing? Birds. You're chasing birds. I have just finished the second coat of varnish on here. I'll insert a picture of the varnish I was using. It's a on sale one, and this has got to be the best part of any DIY, and that's removing the masking tape when you're finished. I just hope it runs on to the next one, because otherwise I'm gonna have to lean over and get it. Fail on my part. So that's a 2 coats. It's an external varnish. It says to do 3 coats, but because it's just internal, I just wanted to protect the floorboards just a little bit. I love all the little bits of character. I didn't want to remove all that. So that's it been sanded down, repainted. Dad's filled this hole with a piece of wood that will darken to match over time. And we're just about to go and fill the holes with the rope. This is the twine that I'm using. It's a jute twine. So we've had to unravel one of the strands for the back groove. It fits perfectly in these ones, and then we'll have to do the same probably for the front. But I'll tag it in the description box down below so you can see what I got it. So we're just about to put some wood glue. Let me show you this wood glue here. Put some of this wood glue in to the hole. It's got a nice narrow nozzle, so that'll go right in, and then push it in with a screwdriver.